In the previous video, some of you have been asking me commenting about the Ford Transit. So as I've done the Skoda favourite videos, this has popped in just a time or two. So what we'll do, we'll make a video and see where we get to. Morning. Some of you have been asking about the Transit in the comments, and I said I was going to make a video of it. So we're now here in sunny Cliviger, just outside Todmorden, and it's peeing down and it's cold, but I'll get on with it and we'll see what we can do. So this is my Transit. It's a Mark 5 Smiley with a 2.5 banana engine in it. When I bought it, it didn't look like this. I've had it resprayed and it's back to its original colour, Ontario blue. I've added a bull bar, changed the wheel trims back to the originals. I'm going to get a lot of wind noise on this, but I can't learn out about that. There used to be a step on the back, so what I've done, taken the step off, had a tow bar fitted for when I'm buying and selling caravans, collecting and delivering. It's in pretty good nick now, but when I bought it, like I say, it weren't this colour. The roof were white and the rest of the van were a very light blue. It was a nice colour, it looked okay and it were pretty solid. So I bought it in 2015. I've been looking for a camper van, but I wanted more like a stealth van, which this is. So I was rooting about on eBay and I come across this 2015, and there were a guy in southern Spain selling it. So I communicated with him, we had a chat. I was wondering why the van was actually in Spain, and it turned out that he's an English chap, married to a Spanish lady, been married over 20 years. They have a business out there and a house out there. He's a locksmith, but also he has a house in Peterborough. And what they do, they come to the UK quite regularly, fly in, fly out. But on this occasion they decided they were going to drive back and they wanted a camper van, so they could go into France and into Spain and visit his wife's relations that they hadn't seen in years. So the van ended up in Spain, southern Spain, right on the tip of Gibraltar. I'm just going to get in it a minute because it's absolutely peeing down here. That's better. Get out of that wind and that rain. It's absolutely freezing out there. So where we're at? eBay, Spain. Yep, chap. So I get talking on the phone to him. We agreed on a price, and I said, okay, I'll fly out, I'll buy it and drive it back. So I got a flight from Manchester Airport, flew out to Gibraltar. He met me in the airport and goes outside, goes through security, Gibraltar, Spain, and we're out there on the car park at the side. If anybody knows that area, there's a big massive car park there. And he brought his wife, which was nice. So gets in, has a chat, pays him the money, does all the paperwork, and they'd even put a few beers in the fridge for me on the way back, which were good, and some tea bags, because obviously him being English and me being English, we like our tea. So that were all great. So by this time it had gone dark, and so I drove as far as Salamanca, I think, on the first day. Stopped in the middle of nowhere, up in the mountains, outside of an old roadside cafe. Got up next morning, had a brew, set off. Drove right through Spain, up over the mountains, and then through customs at Biarritz, which were quite entertaining because there were these two French security stroke police, and they were watching me coming through, one thing and another, and they waved me over. Absolutely mountainous men they were, with guns and everything. And he spoke to me in French. I said, sorry, I don't speak English. So they spoke to me in perfect English, really nice guy. They just wanted to know what I was doing, why I was there, all about the van, etc. And they had a good look inside and mooched about and let me go. So I just ventured a bit further into France. I think I'd been on the road probably 10 or 12 hours that day because I really wanted to get some mileage in. So I drove up from Biarritz on the border there, past Santander, up as far as Le Mans, I think I got that night. I parked up there. Day after, carried on through to Calais, got myself a ticket for ferry for Dover, got back in England, and drove right back up to West Yorkshire, to where I live. So when I bought the van, like I say, it was blue and white, and I do have a bit of video actually that I recorded just for my reference, because so there's no talking on it. It's about 2 or 3 minutes long, and I'll play it after I've chatted with you here. But like I said, there's no talking on it. So anyway, gets it resprayed back to its original colour. Did 1 or 2 things at it, ran it a couple of years. The bodywork were good, the wheel arches and things that rot out normally on transits were okay, but it were getting a bit manky on inner sills, front cross members, blah blah blah. So I decided to take it off the road, cut every bit of rust out of it. A friend of mine did this, I didn't do this because I can't weld. Took him nearly 2 years. So the van come back on the road in December 2018. So what I did, I stripped all the interior out, ready for him to start cutting away and welding, because it couldn't be left in because it just set on fire. So it ended up with a ton of welding on it, which cost me a fortune. I must be absolutely insane, but there you go. I like the Transit. It's my hobby. That's how it is, isn't it? So it ended up with a whole new complete front cross member, shock absorber plates on the inner wings on both sides, and then the outer edges of the inner wings on the front. It had a hole in the bulkhead, which were cut out and welded. It had a hole in the floor on the driver's side, that were cut out and welded. And I just wish I'd videoed all this previously, but you're busy. It had inner and outer sills at the step, driver's side and passenger. Inner sills both sides, along the between the wheels, front to back. New outriggers, lower sections of outer sills both sides. Then it had inner and outer sills right at the back edge, a new full cross member across the back. It had a panel cut out where the rear lights were and a new panel put in. Back of the floor were cut out that has the chassis on it. So the chassis were cut out, the legs, the floor were cut out, which incorporated the spring hangers because they were going. So all that were welded in. It's all been under sealed and treated and everything. And that's where we are with it today. So, like I say, I had to rip out all the interior, which I'm just in the process of putting back, and I'll give you a quick look in a sec. On the So in the back it looks a little bit different than that little bit of video I showed you. So like I say, I'm just in the process of sorting all that. Ooh, a train! Yeah. So in the back I've got the shower unit to put back in. I need to get the porta potty back in, and the sink, cooker and fridge. I'll put all the seats back in. There's a table. Didn't have to bother about taking those cupboards out. I had to take all the panelling out, about 2 or 3 foot up the van, take all the insulation out, etc. Oh, it had with the wheel arches done as well. So at the minute it looks a bit like this inside. In here's the water heater for either gas or electric 240 hookup. I'll put the wardrobe back in. So it's got shelves in the top, and in the bottom is my water containers and gas bottle. So that's where we're at with inside at the minute. Been a lot to do. So there we go. That's the tale of the Transit. Bye for now.